Alright, welcome back. Today we are breaking down San Junipero, the fourth episode in the third season of Black Mirror. The first time you watch this episode, it kinda just feels wrong. It's a happy story, but a lot of Black Mirror episodes start off like that. You watch, and you keep waiting for the dark twist to come, but it doesn't. I mean, the first time I watched it, I think I was hesitant even attaching myself to these characters, because I didn't want to be heartbroken at the end of the episode when they get their lives ruined. Now, similar to a lot of episodes, the ending completely retextualizes the story, and every time you watch it, you notice little things you didn't see before. One of my favorites is listening closely to their dialogue. They drop little hints at the fact these two women are actually super old with the way they talk. And that's one of the things I think makes Black Mirror episodes so fun to go back and rewatch. Now, Charlie Brooker said he wanted to have a happy ending for once, seeing as most Black Mirror episodes end with a feeling of existential dread. And that's exactly why I chose this video when I did. After the stories in White Bear, Black Museum, and Shut Up and Dance, I needed a little positivity in my life. Now let's dive into it. The year is 1987 and the episode opens in San Junipero, a beautiful party city by the beach full of neon lights. In classic Black Mirror fashion, it opens with the song Heaven is a Place on Earth, foreshadowing the theme of the episode. We join an awkward, anxious woman named Yorkie. She gives the feeling of a girl experiencing the big city for the first time, overwhelmed, in awe of everything around her. She notices a young, beautiful woman named Kelly crossing the street and follows her into a club named Tucker's, a nod to TCKR. Inside, it's a party. Everybody's dancing, drinking, laughing with friends and having a good time. But Yorkie looks and feels out of place, like she's here to watch and not necessarily participate in anything. She goes into the arcade to play Bubble Bobble. The guy approaches her trying to spark up a conversation, but she's locked in. He suggests they play Top Speed, but when Yorkie sees the car crash in the game, it visibly bothers her. She says she needs to get her bearings and grabs a soda, and that's when Kelly walks by. Yorkie sees her and lights up. Suddenly, Kelly turns around and sits right down next to her, asking her to play along. A guy named Wes comes over, telling Kelly he had an amazing time last week and that there's only 2 hours left tonight. But Kelly's annoyed and tells him she's talking to a friend she hasn't seen in a while. Yorkie plays along and he leaves. They properly introduce themselves and you can tell there's already a connection. Kelly pressures Yorkie to come out of her shell, forcing a Jack and Coke on her and convincing her to dance. She's not like everyone else in San Junipero. She looks different, acts different, dresses different. Kelly asks her about her glasses, and Yorkie says they aren't prescription. It's more of just a comfort thing, like a security blanket, and Kelly says she likes them. When Yorkie sniffs her drink and chokes on her first sip, Kelly notices something's off and asks if she lives here. Yorkie says it's her first night. That's when the song Fake comes on. How fitting, right? And Kelly convinces her to dance, but Yorkie is terrified of looking dumb. She's focused on everyone watching her. Kelly tells her to follow her lead. Yorkie tries, but she still can't enjoy herself, and she walks off the dance floor when Kelly's back is turned. Kelly finds her outside and apologizes. Yorkie explains she thinks everyone was staring because they're two girls dancing together. But Kelly laughs and says nobody cares. People aren't nearly as uptight as they used to be. That's when Yorkie reveals she's never been on a dance floor and that her family doesn't allow her to do anything. There's so many things she wants to do that she's never got the chance to. That's when Kelly puts her hand on Yorkie's thigh, but Yorkie panics and jumps up saying she has a fiance named Greg outside of San Junipero. But that doesn't stop Kelly. She still invites her to come home with her. But Yorkie says she can't. She's never been with another woman. She shakes Kelly's hand and abruptly leaves, catching Kelly completely off guard. The screen cuts to black and we fast forward to 1 week later. And if you listen closely, when the screen goes black, you can hear hospital machines in the background before it says 1 week later. And just like that, we experienced an entire week with Yorkie. She's stuck in a comatose-like state, and coming to San Junipero is the only life she's had in years. The rest is just darkness. A week later, Yorkie is back in San Junipero. She tries on different outfits without her glasses, but none of it feels right. She puts her glasses back on and wears something she's more comfortable in, going against the classic movie trope of the nerdy girl changing herself. Yorkie's story is about self-acceptance, not transformation. Side note, when the song Girlfriend in a Coma came on, I laughed so hard. I do not know how Black Mirror keeps finding songs that are so specific to the episodes they make. Kelly returns and is ambushed by Wes as soon as she parks. He's obsessed, He says he felt a connection, but Kelly tells him it was just sex. Inside Tucker's, Yorkie arrives and sees Kelly talking to someone. Too scared to approach her, Yorkie stands across the bar hoping Kelly will notice her. She eventually does, but instead of approaching her, dances with another guy to make Yorkie jealous, and it works. Later, Kelly notices Yorkie again and goes to the bathroom. Yorkie follows her in, admitting she doesn't understand how any of this works, and asks Kelly to help make it easy for her. They leave together, and Kelly nearly gets in a car accident on the way home, which scares Yorkie, but they laugh it off together. Inside Kelly's house, Kelly cuts the small talk and starts kissing her. They make sweet, sweet love, and afterwards, Yorkie reveals she's never been with anyone before.
I guess you deflowered me.
What is this, Merry England?
Shut up.
She asks Kelly when she knew she liked women. Kelly explains she always knew she liked women, but was married to a man that she loved deeply. When he died, he chose not to stay in San Junipero, so Kelly visits every weekend until she passes away too. They lay in bed together looking into each other's eyes as their time runs out. Midnight hits and the screen cuts to black. Another lonely week passes for Yorkie, in complete darkness. The third week, Yorkie waits for Kelly, but she never shows up. The bartender suggests checking the Quagmire. It's the complete opposite of Tucker's, a dark, violent dungeon sex club full of full-time San Junipero residents desperately trying to feel anything. But that's where Yorkie runs into Wes, who tells her Kelly jumps between decades. He's seen her in the 80s, the 90s, even 2002. The next week, Yorkie goes to 1980, but Kelly's nowhere to be found. The week after, she goes to 1996. Again, nothing. The week after that, she tries 2002 and finds Kelly playing Dance Dance Revolution. Yorkie approaches her and asks her where she's been, accusing her of hiding. But Kelly says it was just fun and she doesn't owe her anything. But to Yorkie, it was way more than that. It was something extremely special to her. Yorkie leaves and Kelly punches the mirror, which shatters and instantly fixes itself. Our first real hint this isn't a normal reality. Yorkie sits on the roof outside with her legs hanging off the edge, and Kelly joins her. Looking down on the people underneath them, Yorkie asks how many of them are dead, and Kelly says 80 to 85%. That's when Kelly apologizes, admitting she ran because she really liked Yorkie and it scared her. She doesn't know how much time she has left, and she says she doesn't want any attachments. But Yorkie was different, and she wasn't ready for the feelings she felt. Yorkie grabs her, cutting her off, and they kiss. They go back to Kelly's house for some more sweet, sweet lovin', and Yorkie reveals she's marrying Greg next week. Kelly says she has 3 months to live and won't be coming back to San Junipero after she dies. Her husband Richard refused to join, and out of respect, she plans to do the same. Yorkie explains how scared she was to come here, but how grateful she is, because she never would have met Kelly. Kelly laughs and assures her they would have met in real life and plans to visit her, but Yorkie insists in real life she wouldn't like her. This time we cut to the real world. Kelly, now elderly, visits Yorkie in the hospital. Yorkie is revealed to be a quadriplegic in a coma-like state after a serious car accident she got into when she was 21, right after coming out as gay to her parents. That's why car crashes bother her so deeply.
Hello, stupid. It's good to see you.
San Junipero is everything to her because she never got to live her life, and she's only allowed 5 hours a week on the trial version. Yorkie wants to be euthanized so she can stay in San Junipero forever, but her religious family refuses to sign off on it. That's why she's marrying Greg, the nurse, so he can sign off on it for her. Kelly begs Greg to give them 5 minutes together in San Junipero. On the beach, Kelly proposes to Yorkie so she can marry her instead. Of course she says yes. The next day they get married in the hospital. Kelly signs the papers and Yorkie passes over. Yorkie wakes up on the beach, walking in the ocean. She sits down and takes her glasses off, leaving them behind, finally happy and comfortable in her own skin.
Hey! You didn't dress up to see me? Oh, not. Better?
Kelly later joins her, but refuses to stay forever. She explains her 49-year marriage, her daughter's death, and her husband's refusal to join San Junipero. They get into an argument and Kelly leaves. She drives off, speeds up, and purposely crashes her Jeep in anger, mirroring Yorkie's accident. But Yorkie is there for her. Just like Kelly was for Yorkie her first night in San Junipero after her accident. Yorkie extends her hand to help her up, but midnight hits and Kelly disappears. Back in the real world, Kelly's health declines, and she says she's ready to go. She gets euthanized, but then, all of a sudden, she changes her mind. She chooses San Junipero, and she chooses Yorkie. It doesn't matter how many times I watch this episode, it still gets me. It pulls you every direction. There's so many reasons it shouldn't work out for these ladies, but when two people want something badly enough, true love always wins. God, that's such a good story. Now, some cool facts that I learned from this guy right here that I got. This was originally going to be a male and female couple, but they decided to change it to same-sex to add an extra layer to the story. A biracial, same-sex couple could never have gotten married in 1987. They were also originally planning to have the big twist just be Yorkie in a coma, and they were going to end it with Kelly kissing her forehead saying, "Hey stupid, good to see you." But he said he was enjoying writing the story so much, he just kept going. And thank God that he did. He changed it to Yorkie going to San Junipero rather than flat out dying, and gave Kelly a much more in-depth backstory. That's what took this story from good to great in my opinion. The depth of these characters and how they change over the episode is just... Also a big inspiration for this episode was a BBC documentary titled The Young Ones. In 2010, they took 6 celebrities in their 70s and 80s and put them in a house decorated like the 1970s. Vintage TV shows on vintage TVs, only music from the 70s, everything. And suddenly, all these old people were full of life, seemingly acting 20 years younger. The effect it had on these people, their mind state and level of happiness was astonishing. And so he wanted to use this episode to dive into that idea. Now, to fully understand why this ending feels so therapeutic, I think we have to look at these two ladies like they're 4 different people, who they are inside and outside of San Junipero. Because the point of the system isn't just to escape, it gives you a chance to truly be yourself and relive your life in ways you may not have been able to previously. Yorkie's entire presence in San Junipero feels like someone learning to occupy their body for the first time. When we meet her at Tucker's, she looks and feels extremely out of place. She moves like she doesn't belong there. But that's not just her being shy, it's trauma. And when we finally learn why she acts the way she does, everything makes so much more sense. Outside San Junipero, Yorkie has been in a coma for over 40 years after getting in a horrible car accident when she was 21. She finally decided to come out as gay to her parents, but they're hardcore religious and refused to accept her. She left the house angry and got into a bad car accident. That explains the visceral reaction she was having to the car accident in the game, and then the almost accident with Kelly. The car accident was literally the last thing she ever experienced. So even if it was over 40 years ago, it still feels fresh. So Yorkie's life before San Junipero wasn't really any life at all. She spent twice as long in a coma as she did alive. She had her entire life taken from her. That's why her desires in San Junipero were so intense. She isn't just chasing a good time, she's chasing the first time, for everything. And that's the key to Yorkie's motivation. She wants the life she was denied, literally. She wants to have sex, explore life, and find love. Sex symbolizes everything she never got to experience. It's physical proof she exists. Someone else is actually touching her. She's allowed to feel pleasure and make her body her own again. When she admits to Kelly she was a virgin, it's a sad moment because she's essentially mourning the youth she never had. And then we have Kelly, the woman who upon first meeting her appears to be the complete opposite of Yorkie. She's charismatic, dancing, and flirting like she's done this 1,000 times before, because she has. She radiates confidence, the kind of person who can talk to strangers like they're already best friends. Sounds like my wife. But as the episode plays out, we learn that Kelly's confidence is actually a defense mechanism. She says she isn't there to find love because she doesn't do feelings. But the truth is, she's there to avoid the silence of her life in the real world, outside of San Junipero. Kelly's dying of cancer, but she lived a happy, full life. She had a husband named Richard who loved her deeply, and a daughter who died when she was way too young. Kelly's grief is layered. Her daughter's death was extremely hard on both her and Richard, but they were able to get through it together. But then when Richard dies, he chooses not to pass over into San Junipero. He refuses to accept the idea of a digital afterlife, not out of fear, but out of conviction. His daughter didn't get to extend her life, so why should he? The permanent absence of their daughter isn't something you ever really get over. It makes every day more difficult. Extending his life, even digitally, would just be extending that pain and heartbreak. And he wants whatever comes next to be final. But Kelly loves him so much that his choice becomes hers. Because if she goes to San Junipero permanently, what does that say about their marriage and the life they shared? It feels like betrayal if she lets herself love Yorkie. And that's Kelly's motivation inside San Junipero. Escape. She comes to drink, dance, hook up, and leave. No feelings, no attachment. Inside San Junipero, Yorkie is still the same, gentle, genuine person. And that's what makes Kelly so attractive to her. She's everything Yorkie isn't. Bold, outgoing, not worried about other people's opinions. But Yorkie's self-confidence is non-existent. Kelly seems too good to be true. She's out of her league. When Kelly disappears after their night together, Yorkie doesn't get angry. It seems like she's somewhat expected it, because abandonment is all she knows. I mean shit, even her parents stopped visiting her in the hospital. But then Kelly opens up and reveals she has the same feelings, and it gives her life. When Yorkie smiles and finally gets to be herself, it's so genuine and such a heartwarming moment, you can almost feel her happiness with her. After spending basically her entire life in a coma, she didn't get to experience anything. And while San Junipero allows you to experience some things, the chance of finding real love in there has got to be slim to none. So to go from spending your entire life in a coma to finding true love and happiness in like 6 weeks is amazing. And it couldn't happen to a more deserving person. Inside San Junipero, Kelly is a heartless party girl, but as her relationship with Yorkie deepens, the cracks in that persona become something she can't dance away from. When things get serious and she tries to run away from Yorkie after catching feelings, it all starts to make sense. She likes the control of San Junipero, making it easier to run and hide from your feelings. And she needs to keep moving. That way she never sits still long enough for her feelings to catch up to her. But Yorkie changed everything for her. She was different than everyone else, because Yorkie wasn't just an experience. She was a genuine, honest person asking for something real. And that forced Kelly to confront something she never considered. If you could have love again, do you take it? Or do you refuse it out of loyalty to a past that's gone? Kelly's most vulnerable scene isn't in San Junipero. It's when she visits Yorkie and talks to her. Kelly's voice softens in a way we haven't heard. She's present and staring at the reality behind the simulation, realizing how unfair life has been to this woman that she loves. And that's when the weight of her own life crashes down on her. Her daughter, her husband, the promises she made. Kelly's objection to passing over is framed as a consequence of love. She loved Richard enough to make his decision her own. She wants so badly to be with him and her daughter wherever they are. But deep down, she knows after you die, there's nothing. But a loving life with Yorkie, that's real. And that's being presented to her on a silver platter right now. It's a uniquely tragic situation. Now, because this is still Black Mirror, we have to talk about all the blinking lights at the end. The final shot is impressive and horrifying at the same time. This heaven really is a place on Earth. It's got a physical address. At the end of the day, everyone and everything inside of it is just a code, a tricky combination of ones and zeros. And that's when things start getting a little darker, because we see that code as people, with feelings and lives. What happens when eternity gets boring? The same thing over and over again. After enough time, even paradise would feel like prison. That's how the quagmire came into play. People are dying to feel anything because nothing's real, and they're going to extremes to try and do so. Even love, in the context of forever, changes. This episode sells eternity together as romantic, but eternity is not just a lot of time. It's literally forever, never-ending, inescapable. Even Kelly acknowledges it when she says,
Who can even make sense of forever?
because who can? And that's when the corporate horrors start to creep in. Servers can fail, companies can go bankrupt or get hacked. And then we're reminded of the episode Common People. What happens if the subscription model changes? What happens if access becomes tiered? What happens if someone decides to monetize your eternity with ads? Anything can change and you have no say or power over any of it. It's decided in a boardroom based on what's best for shareholders and profit margins. But in a series defined by humans using technology for evil purposes, this episode is a happy alternative that can give us a little hope for humanity. In the right hands, technology can be used to help people, not just enslave, abuse, torment, yada yada yada. Now, because the San Junipero version of Kelly and Yorkie weren't technically real, they were cookie copies made and uploaded, the ending could kind of feel bittersweet. They thought they had a second chance at life together, but it was actually copies that moved on and the originals died. However, due to them having San Junipero available, both Yorkie and Kelly's real bodies were able to die completely at peace with themselves. And that alone is something worth paying for, even if you're tricking yourself. Sure, it may all just be a bunch of code at the end of the day, but humans can give that code meaning. Only humans can look at forever, as terrifying and infinite as it is, and still say, okay, let's do it, together. And when that happens, it's a beautiful story. God, it feels good to end one of these on a happy note. Let me know in the comments, will you guys go to San Junipero? Why? Why not? Thank you guys for joining me on this Black Mirror recap. If you made it this far, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. It helps me out a lot. I greatly appreciate it. See you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.